Starting with today's class, we will begin to study each of the dogmas or articles of the Catholic faith. The study undertaken here supposes, first of all, the previous notion of what is meant by credo, I believe, in Latin, that is, of the standard professions of faith elaborated by the Church over time in which they are articulated, in a synthetic, the various truths that a faithful Catholic must believe. In this course, our basic text will be called the Apostolic Creed, structured in 12 articles, hence the denomination apostolic, which is usually recited in Masses. The first article reads, I believe in God the Father Almighty, Creator of heaven and earth. Although it is also a fact of faith, attested by the SS. Scripture and tradition, the Church has always recognized that the existence of God, Creator and Lord of all things, can indeed be demonstrated with certainty by human reason through created realities. Creation, in effect, can be seen as a natural revelation, in which God left impressions of his existence and perfections, like a potter in his clay pot. This is alluded to by St. Paul, for example, when writing to the faithful at Rome. Since the creation of the world, the invisible perfections of God, his everlasting power and divinity, are made visible to intelligence, by his works. Rm 1:20. In any case, the most sure indication that God exists is the principle of causality, which applies, necessarily and evidently, at all levels of creation. The universe, from the atomic world to the great galaxies, presents an amazing order and beauty, a regularity in its manifestations that cannot, at least for a healthy reason and free of prejudices, be explained by pure chance, by the interpolation of blind and unruly forces. In fact, no one in their right mind can fail to admit that everything that exists is a cause for its existence. It is the job of science to discover and analyze the intelligibility behind these evident cause and effect relationships that permeate everything we see. Just as no well-trained doctor assumes that it is chance that is responsible for a stomach disease, so every sensible man has the capacity to recognize that the world as a whole must have an intelligent cause, which has given things order, distributing them according to well-defined roles and functions. Basically, the reasons that usually led some people to discredit God, without taking into account the materialism in which we unfortunately live immersed, are of a less speculative and moral nature. To recognize that God exists and that everything, in fact, means to admit that we do not belong. We are destined for him, so it is not in our hands to define what is good and what is not, and in what direction we should go in our lives, as if all options were equally valid and capable of contributing to a truly happy human life.